I am just going to show you how to correctly use your Haakaa silicone breast pump if you don't already know. So I use the 2nd generation silicone breast pump. This is the flower stopper, so we'll just pop up to the side for a second. Now there is a correct and an incorrect way to use your Haakaa, so this is what we're going to have a quick chat about today. Now in the first weeks of breastfeeding after having a newborn, so sort of up to about 8 weeks, your breast supply is trying to regulate, it's trying to understand your baby, and it's trying to know how to tailor its milk to suit your baby's needs and feeds and what works best for the little one. So in that time, it's really important that we don't breast pump unless you have been told to by a medical professional. And the reason for this is you don't want to create an oversupply of breast milk. This can be quite painful for mum. You can become a bit of a higher risk for mastitis, and it can also create a little bit of issues for baby for breastfeeding. Baby can become quite overwhelmed with the flow of milk. They can kind of come off, and they can sometimes be reluctant to attach to the breast to feed, because if there is quite a lot of milk coming out there, it can be difficult for them to get used to how to feed from that, or how to navigate the situation, I suppose. Now, in the first few weeks of my daughter's life, I did use my Haakaa, but I used it correctly. So what I did was I didn't apply suction per se with my Haakaa. I wanted to collect my letdowns. I did not want any of that liquid going to waste. So I just applied my Haakaa like this. I just popped it over the breast that I wasn't feeding from. I held it in place and I let my letdown fall into the breast pump. Now, there was times where I felt a little bit engorged, and it would have been really handy to kind of fall into the trap of applying a little bit of suction like this and allowing that milk to come down. But again, that you do, your breast milk works on a supply and demand. If you're telling your breast to empty, you know, it's going to start filling up to create that supply for the demand that you're telling it you need. So it is really important in that first weeks to just let your baby do that naturally from the breast. So for me, like I say, I just held it over and caught all that fantastic letdown, and I was getting a chunk of milk. When I tell you, I could get 2, 3, 4 ounces sometimes, literally just while breastfeeding. All this milk was just pouring out and I caught it all into my Haakaa. It was fantastic. I was one of the lucky ones. And after my breast milk was established and I knew what my baby needed, I was able to begin using my Haakaa as a proper breast pump. Now, to get that onto your breast and to utilise it correctly, the best way to do it is to invert your flange, and you just fold it over like so. And you can kind of hold that down and you place it over the nipple like this, and then pop the flange over the breast, and it will create a suction at that point. Now, the way that I personally do it, or did do it when it was back in the kind of early days when I was using my Haakaa at every single feed, and I used it at every feed. What I did was I would burp my Haakaa, so to get all like an extra bit of suction, because I really utilised it as a pump. So I would invert the flange, I would pop it over the breast, and as I was at this point here, I would burp the flange. So basically you're just squeezing the air out, popping your breast over like this, and then pop your flange over the top, and when it's a natural breast, you will have a really good suction there, and then your milk will just come. Now, there was one point I had a bit of a sore breast. I probably could have led down the mastitis route had I not fixed it in time, and what I did was I pumped my breast milk like this just to kind of get the clogs out. I think there was maybe just a little bit of fatty buildup, I don't know, and so I used it as a pump, and I pumped like this while it was suctioned onto my breast, and that was fantastic. That just got everything out and made me feel a lot more comfortable. Now, there is a great hack for your Haakaa, and that is if you do have really sore breasts or you do have mastitis, you can actually put some Epsom salts, bath salts, in the bottom of your Haakaa with some warm water, and place that again over onto your breast, like over your nipple. You don't want to suction really, because you're going to be in a lot of discomfort if you've got mastitis, but you just hold that over like this and let that do its magic, and you will get a lot of relief. Haakaas are fantastic for being able to provide you with not only a breast pump but almost like a milk shield, you know, like you can catch all your milk in it without it being used with suction. But also you can put salt in it with nice warm or hot water if you've got a little bit of discomfort. And I found in the early days my daughter had a tongue tie, lip ties, and I was in a lot of pain for the first 4 months, and I would put my salts in my Haakaa, and I used that for a bit of pain relief, so it is fantastic for that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the correct way to apply it with inverting your flange and burping your Haakaa. So if you've got any questions, you can just drop me a little private message and I'll try and help you as best I can so that you can get the best use out of your silicone Haakaa as possible.